Never seen a lame man walk. Never heard a dumb man talk. Never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a cancer dead. Never seen all the poor get fed. Never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made.
There's bees everywhere. Your weapons are useless against them.
Hello out there, internet world, podcast world, YouTube world, just the world. How in the world are you? It is May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. And you are watching, in case you were wondering what you're watching, the Big C and Bigger T podcast. I'm Bigger T. That, my friends, right there is Big C. What's up, Clint Clark?
Man, not a lot. What a fun week. I know you being a Browns fan, you had a load of fun. Eli Burrell, who I'm going to make him watch this podcast. He like literally was really happy. He's a huge Chiefs fan. Huge Chiefs fan. He sent me videos of the 2 offensive linemen they drafted, and he's like, "Man, look at these studs." He's all excited. I know you're all excited.
That's right.
I'm sure everybody's sitting at home either thinking their GM's an idiot or a genius.
You know, this is the first draft I remember that almost every team, everybody's like, we got better.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, actually. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it's because there was no combine or whatever it was, or it was all virtual. You know, the pro days were all virtual. But, like, everybody's like, yeah, we got better. There wasn't any weird reaches. I mean, the Raiders had a little weird reach, but, hey, they're the Raiders. They always have a weird reach. But yeah, man, even the Cowboys made some smart picks. Who knew? Who knew?
And trading back in the spot they did was genius. The only question I had was, it's always weird when you trade within the division, but if you look, basically they got a little bit extra, got the guy they wanted, and the person picking behind them was the Giants. So basically they kind of messed with the Giants to help the Eagles. So yeah, I don't think there was. I think it's no harm, no foul. The Eagles got the guy they wanted and all that fun stuff.
Well, and Clint, as we talk about the week, we've started a little tradition of having a Holy Shnikes moment.
It was,
of course, with strong shout outs to our hero Chris Farley, with the Holy Shnikes thing. And so
I actually watched Tommy Boy this weekend too, so it's good.
Yeah. So, well, anytime it's on, you got to watch it. Yeah. So, Clint, what is the Holy Shnikes moment this week?
Well, you know, last week I thought I was doing my boy a solid, and I was like, "Hey, you know, let's do it. Let's do a commercial for Tommy Robbie the Pirate." For Hometown Roofing, which is because we are paid podcasters now.
That's right. He bought us dinner, so we're paid.
So we're paid podcasters. We gave him, hey, you do that, we give you a commercial. Apparently, he did not like the pirate shtick.
He didn't like it.
He was not a fan.
What?
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Oh. He had the best intentions.
We did. So, as you know, I was like, hey, what can we do to get more eyes for Hometown Roofing? I'm like,
that's right.
What we do. So I come up with another idea. Like, we'll get Robert, we'll dress him up like a pterodactyl. He'll be on top of the roof going, because
think about it. If you live in a neighborhood And you see, you know, if someone's doing construction, you notice it, right? You notice the trucks pulling up. Well, what if you see those trucks pulling up and the scaffolding going up and all that ladders, and all of a sudden you see a pterodactyl running on the roof?
Yeah, like a pterodactyl man.
What better advertising is that? I'm with you. That's great.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
As you know, I used to professional wrestle.
Yeah.
And
the wild card Colton Cash.
The wild card Colton Cash. And
That's
you
right.
did ring announcing, and I would wear a
That's
purple
right.
singlet to the ring. And everybody called me
purple spandex
singlet. Yes.
Singlet.
Right.
Audience will give you a chance to envision that.
Drink it in, my mans.
Now hit pause on your video and throw up. But okay, now you're back. Okay.
There you go. So what I was thinking is I'll wear my purple singlet, I'll put my wrestling shoes on, and I'll come out there and because I'm petrified of heights.
And they're not just shoes, you got the boots, right? You got the wrestling boots, don't you? The lace up.
I not anymore, but I have wrestling shoes.
Okay.
So we anyway. So yeah, I'll come. I'm petrified of heights, so I'll try to get Robert to come down and fight me, and it can be a whole thing. It'll definitely get people going. Now, Travis, we do have a very special guest once again today. So I'll let you.
The Hogs beat LSU. That's always a good thing, right? So in baseball. And so we need to bring in our guy. Everybody needs a guy. And we got our baseball guy, Beau Morgan. Come on in, Beau. Jump into this room with us.
Let's go. Let's do it. Let's bring him on in.
Where's he at? There he is. What's up, Beau Morgan?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? I appreciate y'all having me back.
Coming to us live from East Camden, Arkansas.
That's right.
The Harmony Grove area of Camden. How you doing, Beau?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Man, we're blessed and well.
I'm thrown off by the picture of Robert in the background there.
There you go.
Yeah.
The Costanza. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you could hear us a while ago, but Clinton just got through talking about his days as a professional wrestler wearing a purple singlet. So, yeah, we had to tell everybody to pause their video and go throw up. Well, man, let's talk about this baseball team. They go down to they played at LSU, right? Correct?
Yep, at LSU.
And come away with 2 of 3, which is kind of we're kind of getting used to that in SEC, aren't we?
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, that was only the second series win against LSU. I can't remember in how many years, but maybe all-time SEC. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I think we've only won 2 series against LSU, so that was big to go into LSU and come out with a victory.
What are some things you're seeing from this team, you're continuing to see that gives you lots of good hope?
Man, this team is, they're a group of fighters. They don't ever give up. Mm-hmm. Even in that loss the other night, you've already got the series. You don't have to go to your best pitcher on the team, but you go back to Cops for 3 innings so you can hold LSU at, 5 runs, and that gives your bats a chance to catch up. Ended up being 1 short, ended up losing that game 5-4. But, they just don't give up. They keep fighting. Glad to say that not a lot has changed in the terms of they're still number 1, and they've been ranked at, I think, 7 straight weeks as the number 1 team in AA baseball right now. So,
and man, the schedule does not get any easier. I know we've got who do we got this week? I know we got Tennessee coming up, which is highly ranked.
We got Georgia. We got Georgia coming up this weekend. Then we will have another midweek game against ASU, against another Arkansas team. Followed up by Tennessee and then Florida. So, the last 2 weekends of series play are going to be, they're not going to be give me.
Not easy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think unless Tennessee lost this weekend a series, them and Arkansas were the only two teams that have not lost a conference series in the NCAA.
So that'll be big. Now, Beau, this wasn't one of the questions that that I had prepared, but now we're playing a lot of Arkansas schools this year. You think that's more? They did that more because of COVID travel restrictions, or you think that's going to be the norm going forward?
For baseball, I think that's going to be the norm. I think they're, they're tapping into that Arkansas rivalry. They're getting more visibility. I heard a statement the other day that, and I think it's all for recruiting. And I'm kind of basing it off of this statement. They said when Arkansas has done good, when they went to World Series, when they went deep into the postseason, they have been loaded with talented Arkansas players, Arkansas born and raised ball players. And I think them going around and playing these in-state teams does nothing but help them.
Yeah.
For one, give visibility.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I said you just get more visibility. You're picking up, especially with, like we've talked about before, now that you can watch every game because it's streamed live on ESPN. You're getting to Little Rock, where typically Arkansas is not going to go. You're going to Jonesboro maybe to play. Now, we still hadn't went back to Little Rock like they used to with that Dickie Stevens Park game. But, hopefully that'll start back up next year.
Yeah.
And I think that's true in every Arkansas sport. Is historically when Arkansas has been really good, if you don't count track, because we all know how they win at track. but they get whoever they want. But the Arkansas kid's good. You have your Corliss Williamson, you have your Darren McFadden's, you have your Tyler Wilson. That is when Arkansas is good. Even Ron Mallett was practically from Arkansas. He's from Texarkana, Texas.
Yeah,
but,
right.
I mean, I count that as being from Arkansas. When you have the talent from Arkansas that wants to stay home, that's when you really, really see Arkansas be good. And I think that's the same thing in baseball. Now, we have an Arkansas kid we have a Wooster kid on the team, Caden Wallace, who, in my opinion, in 3 years, he'll be a first-round draft pick. How many first-round draft picks do you think's on this team? Because, like, for example, give the bats a chance. We're worried about the pitching. But, man, this lineup's it's loaded with MLB talent. With guys you're going to be seeing playing in Wrigley Field, Yankee Stadium. How many do you think are realistically going to be first-round pick? We had Kerstad a couple years ago, which was the number 2 overall pick. What guys on this team do you think have a chance of doing that?
Well, I think right now, Franklin, hands down, I think he could go first round this year. I mean, is there a better player in the NCAA right now?
No.
I mean,
I think he would be. To me, he'd be the first college position player taken. I know a couple of them pitchers from Vanderbilt are pretty stinking good.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Franklin's finally – he got criticized a little bit earlier in the season because his batting average was down. He would still have the big moments. He was clutch when he needed to be. Mm-hmm. But, he's heating up as you get here towards the end. His batting average is a 303 coming out of the weekend. So, he's finally reached the 300s in batting average. Man, he's got 45 RBIs, leading the team in RBIs, which, I kind of look at the batting average. Yeah, it's good when you have a high one, but I also look at RBIs too, because that tells me he's hitting the ball, putting it in play. He's just hitting it straight at guys. Yeah. It may be that deep fly ball to outfield that scores 2, that they catch a sacrifice fly or something. He's got 10 home runs. I think one other player, Robert Moore's got 11. I think Goodhart has 11. So, he's right there in double digits in the home runs. Yeah, I think he's the first round. He's early first round. Sticking with position players, I think Robert Moore, I don't know that he'd be first round this year, but next year for sure. Which he's just a sophomore, isn't he? So I guess he could go. What do you have to? I can't remember. What
I think you got to be junior. The one thing, and it shouldn't, because you see the power the guy has.
Yeah.
his size, I think some MLB teams are going to is going to concern some people with more, and I think that could hurt him. But you see, you see your David Ecksteins, guys like that are seated. I mean, funny thing about it, because I'm a huge Cardinal fan. I think you're a Braves fan. Travis is a Yankees fan. But Albert Pujols, for the 2 World Series rings he has with the Cardinals, he never won MVP. Eckstein and David Freese, I believe, were the 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I just think people are going to see, and Moore had a huge series at South Carolina. I know the student section was mocking him, singing the loop, and then he kept hitting dingers, and like, that's kind of cocky, him doing that backflip, and then I saw like they were going oopa crank.
That pretty much
those stories.
Up for the rest of the weekend on him after that. I imagine the coaching staff sent a letter to the student section, said, "Shut up, do not talk anymore."
Exactly,
yeah. But Wallace, you named Wallace. I think he's another one that's got big potential. You look at what he's doing as a freshman. I kind of compare, I guess, not size wise, but Casey Martin. He got drafted pretty much, I would say, as a fresh on what he did on his freshman year, because the next year he didn't do nearly as well. I mean, he had the potential; it was there. And Wallace is on that road. Here he is. He's in the hunt. I think he's at 9 home runs. He lacks 1 home run from busting double digits.
One thing I think Wallace has going for him, though, is he has the size too.
Oh yeah.
Casey Martin was still a little bitty guy.
Right.
He was sort of undersized, and so his bat was kind of surprising to a lot of people, because he didn't necessarily look like he could do what he could do, sort of like Moore is doing in a way. But Wallace is, when you look at Wallace, he looks like an MLB player already as a freshman.
And Wallace,
walking in the room,
his frame, to me, he looks like one of them guys that could be, kind of like, and I'm gonna compare him to Trout right here, as far as, he can add some muscle. He can be that. You can tell, right now he's still an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I think you look at him over the next 2 years in the weight room at Arkansas, you're going to start seeing that. You're going to start seeing that good heart power. I mean, I think it's already there, but I think you add more muscle, you're going to see him start putting balls over the scoreboard, hitting it way up into the hog pen. So, yeah, he's definitely one that I think you're going to have to watch. I think he'll go in the draft, regardless, but I think you give him a couple of years, he'll be a first-round draft pick.
Oh, no.
Well, and like you said, like Casey Martin, he had that great freshman year, but then those next 2 years, you're kind of like, okay, I mean, not that he was bad, when he had a great career at Arkansas, but you were kind of like, okay, I thought this guy was going to be a superstar. By the way he came out that freshman year, you're thinking, okay, this guy's going to be a superstar here.
Right.
And then he was, he was still one of the best players on the team, but he wasn't. But and so Wallace is still going to have to, in baseball, there's a lot of mental confidence and, mental stuff to go through, work through to keep on top.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Beau, let's talk about the pitching. That third day, Coach was asked about it, and he said that's been a struggle, that they're trying to figure it out. He was real open about it.
Yeah.
And we saw, and one of the things I know I was hoping for is, I thought, okay, they said Connor Nolan's ready to pitch. I'm thinking, okay, here it is, man. They've had him rehabbing. He's going to come in, third game. Here's our guy, third game pitcher. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then they put him in that second game. And what happens to him?
Well, I'm gonna start with the positive.
Gotcha.
He didn't throw many balls.
Mm-hmm.
That, I guess, if that's one positive, he threw a lot of strikes. But what happened was he gave up 6 hits and 6 runs.
Yeah.
In an inning, and got pulled right out. Right. But we've talked about this before. And we've talked about how smart Dave Van Horn is. Who would have thought? I wouldn't have thought. Let's put him in second game.
Yeah.
We're going to wait towards the end of the game. We're going to throw him in there. We're going to let him. We're going to see what he can do. I'd have been thinking, let's get him in the third game after the series win. Whatever. But
I would have had him second pitcher in third game.
Yeah. So we throw him in there as your third pitcher in in a game where you're ahead 16. What was it? 16.
I think 16-2 or 4.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, we were up a lot.
Yeah, he comes in, gives up 6 hits, 2 of which are home runs. Gives up 6 runs, put LSU right back in the ball game. It was a pretty tough outing for him. I will say he didn't throw many balls. He didn't walk anybody. He had 1 strikeout. So maybe coming off that injury, he just needs to get in there and, maybe he's still getting his power back. He's still getting his feel back. Something, for his breaking stuff, for keeping people off balance. I hope that's the case. I hope he can come back and be one of our conference starters next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough one. Dave Van Horn could not have put him in a better situation, though. I mean, the game's in hand.
Yeah.
And I think he gave him a long leash. Like, he's like, okay, let's see if the kid can work his way out of it. And he just couldn't. I mean, everybody that, was commenting on it said you could tell he was nervous, and he hadn't played in a while. And I know he'd been dealing with some injuries. So,
in hindsight, man, it was a brilliant move by Van Horn. I mean, just brilliant to pitch him right there because, okay, he goes out and he gets rocked. Let's say he gets rocked in that third game. Like if he'd have done like this brilliant coach would have done, put him in second, he gives up 6 runs. They lose that game instead of by 1, by, a ton. That's going to hurt his confidence even more.
Right.
At least he went and did that in a game where at the end of it, they're celebrating and they're happy as a team. So I think that's so good of DeBron, of Van Horn to do it that way. So
yeah,
brilliant.
Well, I still have confidence in him, just like I say, based on the fact that he's not throwing many balls. Yeah, you don't quite have the control that you want him to have as far as painting corners, keeping them off balance, hitting spots. And I think that'll come. I hope that'll come back as he heals and comes back from this injury. Obviously for them to put him in, he thinks he's 100% ready to go. But man, you got to get a feel back for the ball. And like I said, you could tell he was nervous. You hadn't been in the game nearly all season. Everybody's kind of looking at you like, hey, we're needing this guy to step up and be our third starter.
Yep.
Here he comes. He knows all these expectations are out there on him.
Yeah.
So done good just to throw. I mean, I hate to say it that way. He got hit, but he was throwing strikes.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody we're not only good when the Arkansas kids are good, we pull for the Arkansas kids.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Because, I mean, like literally when he announced the first 3 starters, everybody's like, what about Connor Nolan? What about Connor Nolan? Yeah. That's what everybody was asking about. They wanted to know, what about Connor Nolan? It's the same thing if, like, next year we shows up and Caden Wallace isn't in the starting lineup. Everybody's like, what about Caden Wallace? It was not only for that. And plus, he started, he started quarterback a game for the Razorbacks, so he's going to kind of, he's going to
get that crossover.
I don't remember what a disaster that season was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. We need an update, man. Our favorite future Hog, Mason Morgan of the Camden Harmony Grove Hornets. How's the baseball team doing? How's our man Mason, your youngest son? How's he doing?
Well, man, you see, I wore this Harmony Grove hat just for the podcast because we're going into regionals. The team ended up being the co-conference champions. We we ended up losing a tough game against Smackover, one of our local area rivals. Lost it 1-0. Had 2 errors in the first inning. They got 1 run across the plate, and that was it. It was really a pitching duel. You had 2 really good pitchers. Had our ace and theirs going against each other, and man, we actually hit the ball hard against them, but we kind of had those Franklin moments. We were hitting the ball right at everybody. Yeah. So, it's all you can do is get up there and swing the bat. But after that, we ended up splitting the conference with them. Co-conference champions. We outscored them in the other game. We beat them. So we ended up getting the 1 seed for the conference or for the region.
Nice.
So we'll play Bismarck on Thursday. But Mason's doing well. He broke the 20s. He's, I think, 4th on the team in RBIs right now.
That's awesome.
As a 9th grader, correct?
As a 9th grader, right. Yeah. So, yeah, he's doing good. He's loving it. He's growing, learning. I think he's learning a lot, getting to play with the upperclassmen, getting to see a lot of baseball. We're 20, I think, when we finished up the regular season at 20-8 on the season.
Clint, I do have to take a little credit for Mason's athletic ability. I was his PE coach.
That's right.
The Christian school he was in. I'd go once a week. That's how much they cared about PE. I was there for 30 minutes a week. And I had them running like flex run stuff. And Mason was a killer at dodgeball. Like all the other kids, they would throw it and it'd be like a rainbow. And then all of a sudden you'd see Mason.
Now, is there a worse sport you can play as a big guy than dodgeball? Because everyone thinks
it's horrible. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like that we were unathletic. We played on the football teams and stuff. So we weren't like picked on.
Yeah.
But, oh, look, there's a big guy.
Yeah. Automatic.
Yeah. First one out.
Yeah, automatic target.
Yeah.
All right, Beau, we're going to finish up the show here by talking about this weekend's Mother's Day. I know your mom, Miss Harleen. She took my my check for years at the water department here in town.
That's right.
And played some church league volleyball with her. But just say something, a fond memory, or you just brag on your mom a little bit.
Well, you knew her growing up. She was actually our church youth group leader for as many years as I can remember. Her and my dad were. So we went to. They led us in many events, church camps, concerts. Local with where we would come meet up with Travis and the youth group at Grace and different things. So that's a real positive memory. She was the one that kind of kept us in church and kept us going all the time. Sports wise, my dad worked a lot. So me and my brother, that's who actually threw. She would stand in the yard and throw baseballs with us for hours. She played softball. Yeah. And so she played baseball and softball. So she would stand in the yard for hours throwing wiffle balls to us or just playing catch. Did the same thing for Mason and my nephew Landon, who are the same age. Yeah. We'd pull up.
Landon's in the playoffs too, by the way, with Camden Fairview.
Right. Yeah. He's a 9th grader with Camden Fairview, and they're in the playoffs as well. But that's probably one of the fondest memories is just we'd stand out in the yard when we were young and just play baseball for hours and hours with her throwing the ball to us and coaching us. And she is still the loudest one at the ballpark. She's got all those old school, let's get them in 2, turn 2 right here in field. She's the one you still hear at all my son's baseball games hollering.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So she still loves it. So I love the fact she still comes to all the ball games and loves to see her grandboys play just like she watched us. So.
That's awesome, man. Well, Beau, man, we appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
Again, great job making us look smarter. That's what we need.
Well, I appreciate it. Any help I can give,
that's right. Well, man, you have a good one. And tell Mason we said hello, and that the Big C, Bigger T podcast is rooting for him. and the Harmony Grove Hornets to bring back that regional.
All right. I'll do it, fellas. We appreciate it.
All right, have a good one, Beau.
All right. Yep.
Clint's always good talking to Beau about some Razorback baseball. He loves baseball. Guy loves it, and love talking to him about it. But we did with him there. It is Mother's Day weekend coming up.
It is, and Sue was a sports mom.
That's right.
I mean, as you know, I've often talked with fondness, and I know we're going to tell stories about each other's moms, but I always look back with fondness of my college football career. And Travis, how much playing time did I get in college?
You play college football?
Well, I was on the team. I was on the team.
Now you didn't get a whole lot. You got some.
I got some.
You didn't get a whole lot.
I don't think they missed a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking
that
about
was a lot of travel.
A lot of traveling to watch their son stretch before a game.
That's right.
Like I could do jumping jacks and stretches like nobody's business.
That's right.
But I mean, but they went to every game. I remember. I mean, they went to West Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, it is where's West Georgia? It's a ways out there. They went to Carson Newman. They went to so many. They took so many road trips that they did it. But she was always. They were all. I remember them always being mom and dad always being there.
Yeah, I remember talking to your parents about some of those road trips.
Yeah,
and how long they were and stuff.
And the fact that they didn't get divorced during that time.
That's right. Yeah.
Because as much as I love Tom, he's not the easiest travel companion.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway,
a lot of couples couldn't survive that.
Yeah. So what are some of your memories of Sue Clark herself?
Well, and this is the neat thing, Clint, is we can talk about this. And since we grew up together, we spent a lot of time at each other's houses. You did. You spent a lot of time at my house, and I spent a lot of time at yours. And so we got to be around each other's moms. And of course, with Sue Clark, the first thing I think of is Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Because you would walk in her house, and on the counter would be the plastic Tupperware pitcher and some glasses, the Tupperware glasses. And there would be, we'd get ice out of the freezer and pour the Kool-Aid. And now look, I don't know how you can say someone makes the best Kool-Aid ever. It's just mixing up flavoring, sugar, and water, right?
Right.
But somehow your mom makes the best Kool-Aid ever.
She does.
I don't know how that is, but it happens. And it's the truth. And anyone else that thinks that their mom did it better is just wrong. Because Miss Sue makes the best Kool-Aid ever.
Yep. One time go ahead. I interrupted.
And it was always there. And then she would even get creative sometimes. Or a lot of times, I guess it was us being creative. But she just laughed at us when we would mix the flavors together.
Yeah.
Because it took 2 pouches per
right. Yeah. So we'd like
pitcher
grape and lemonade or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
But
the coolest thing is that your mom always enjoyed us being there. Like I never felt like I was annoying your mom by being at your house, or that any of the other guys were. Like she loved seeing us out there. She loved seeing us, play it. She'd make Paul play, make us play with Paul, and that's when we would pick on him ruthlessly. But
he's still salty about the day of 1,000 splashes.
Yeah, that poor guy. That poor guy still doesn't walk right because of that. He's running marathons and stuff now, right? But he still doesn't walk right because what we did to him on that trampoline that day. But no, Sue was just so. And then, I mean, I respected them so much for following you to all those ball games, man.
Yeah.
That was, my mom, I love my mom immensely, but my mom wasn't the sports mom. My mom she came to home games and she was the loudest one in the stands, which you know, sometimes I'd be like, Mom, come on. Especially when I was kicking field goals. I was like, oh, Mom, please don't yell right now. But I'd hear her in the stands, kick it, Travis, you know. But I know it's just my mom. She was always just you know, she's a happy person, happy-go-lucky. And but what are some of your memories about Miss Betty?
Well, you actually, and we were discussing this beforehand. I remember us taking that trip to Branson. And guys, unfortunately, I'm the opposite of Travis. I'm very annoying, and I can see, and I can be. It's like that Brothers Osborne song. I'm not for everyone because I'm not. But I remember we took that trip to Branson, and you told me like somewhere on the trip I made you pull over because I had to pass gas, and I didn't want to stink up the car,
which was pretty nice of you.
It was pretty nice of me.
Because if it had been just me and you would have.
I would have, yeah. I would.
But it was like this was a minivan with me and Clint up front, with my mom, my grandmother, and a cousin and my aunt, I think, in the van. So go ahead.
But dude, I just remember your mom would laugh. She would laugh hysterically at all my jokes. She was always so kind and courteous that she at least, if I wasn't actually funny, she would make me think I was funny.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I think at one point I got out and I ran around the car when we were parked in Branson. I was like, have you seen my cousin Yakov Smirnoff? And she just, but we had so much fun. And I remember going over to your house one time, and I think we were disappointed because I think me and you were both like 15, maybe 16. We were older kids where we didn't think anything our parents did was cool anymore.
Yeah.
Which I'm experiencing that now as I have teenage kids, where nothing I do is cool.
That's right.
Me and my cousin Brandy were actually talking about that today. Like we're cool and we're fun.
Yeah.
And we got a bunch of kids that don't see it.
Yeah.
So I remember they had your stepdad Jim had made a potato gun or something.
Was it that one that would shoot stuff straight in the air?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But he had made it. I mean, it was like, and me and you were like, we're not going to play with stupid potato gun. Are you serious right now? And then your mom kind of guilted us into playing with it. Like you're hurting his feelings. Go play with the potato gun. Yeah. And so then me and you started playing with the potato gun, and then dadgummit, was it not just, it was a big barrel of fun. It was a whole,
and it was a little more than a potato gun. This was more like a cannon.
Yeah, and you can probably explain what it was better than I can. You're a lot better at giving details.
He worked at a factory, and they had these big rolls of paper stuff, right? But the inside roll, kind of like what's in the middle of a paper towel, was like a super thick, like cardboard, went all the way around, and it was about the size of a softball of the hole in the middle. And he took one of those, and it was about 7 feet long or so, and he bored a hole in the bottom of it, hooked a propane bottle up to it, and then had a little electric ignition switch. And so it would shoot stuff like I think I put tennis balls in it, and I could shoot them up in the air and practice catching fly balls with it. It was so nuts. And it was loud. It sounded like a gun going off. But we weren't in Wooster, Arkansas. We'd had anyway. But my mom put up with a whole lot when it came to things like that.
Oh my goodness.
For sure.
Yeah. We were well-behaved kids, but we all had our moments, you know. And, I do remember it. And I was talking to my boss the other day, and I said, this right here is my greatest strength. And it's also my greatest weakness, because I've put my foot in my mouth more times than I count, including with your mom. And so, but Miss Betty never I would say dumb stuff, and she never banned me from your house. Like, Clint can't come over. He hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
He insulted Mother Teresa. He can't come over.
Yeah.
And so she never did that. I think you got mad at me a few times over something I said. But Miss Betty never. Yeah, we always did. I mean, we're
Well,
44 years old and we're still friends. So
one of the blessings is we always had moms that supported us. They were our biggest fans, no matter what. I mean, they probably make up half our views on YouTube for this podcast. Yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to do this. And they're always just been there encouraging and supporting us. You know, your mom has, I know, supported you through good and bad, and my mom's done the same. And and it's just been a blessing. But one of my fondest memories of my mom probably were before I moved to Greenbrier, when we were when my mom was single and we were broke as a joke, man. We had no money. I remember my mom wrote a check for 25 cents one time so we could have bubble gum, because we hadn't had bubble gum in a long time. And she just wanted some, you know, we bought as much, I think they were like 2 cents a piece, that bubble gum with the rainbow colored wrapper, you know, or the blue, yellow, and red wrapper. And she just bought some bubble gum. And then she was a nurse and she didn't get a lot of days off. And if she got a day off during the week and she hadn't had a day off, then I had a day off. You know, like if she didn't have I was out of school on Saturday, if she was having to work on Saturdays, sometimes she'd let me just play hooky from school. Yeah. And especially if it was a nice weather day. And I remember one time she's like, "You're not going to school today. You're going to skip." I'm like, "How cool is that?" My mom's letting me skip school. And we went down to the creek to go swimming, because it was just getting warm enough to go swimming to this and then she bought a watermelon. We got down there and she forgot to bring a knife. So we ended up breaking the watermelon over a rock and just eating it that way. Like we're savages. But anyway, my mom was the top. She'd always, every situation, if it was, a lot of people would look back at some of those and be, you know, they were bad situations, but she made them fun for me, you know. But my favorite story about her discipline, real quick, is this.
Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to tell this story. I had a bad, annoying habit when I was a kid. I forget how old I was. I was older. I was an older kid, but I was still like crying when I got in trouble or whatever. But I would start going, "Nobody loves me." No, you know, trying to make my mom feel bad, you know, manipulating her or whatever.
Right. Well,
one time I did something, and I think she was cleaning someone else's house to earn extra money. And I'd like vacuumed up the comforter, had like little things hanging off of it. I like vacuumed them up into the vacuum cleaner, and she's getting on to me and trying to pull them out. You know, she's worried she runt this comforter, or that I'd runt the comforter. And I'm over there crying, "Nobody loves me." And she goes, "You're right, I don't." And I'm like, I just stopped crying. You know, like there were already no tears because I was just trying to, you know. But I mean, that was just my mom being a smart mom, because that's what I needed to stop me from doing that. You know what I mean?
Now, did Miss Betty ever spank you?
Oh, yeah.
What was her weapon of choice?
Whatever she could grab.
This right here.
Oh, that was a lot. Yeah.
This was Sue Clark's weapon of choice. I don't remember. You know, we had Chihuahuas because Paul had allergies.
Yeah.
So we had one. I think it was Tito was his name.
Yeah.
And me and Paul had teased it, and the dog was just mean. He was just a mean Chihuahua, and he would bite you.
Yeah.
And so Mom, of course, she would be whipping us with this. It always seemed like I'd wind up in the corner of the bathroom going, "I'm calling Stan. I'm calling Stan. I'm calling Stan." And she's like, "I don't care." And she'd be foaming at the mouth, evil red eyes.
That's
the way I remember it. It's like, "I don't care." She'd be hitting me in the head. You know what I mean? She would just be hitting me. And the only reason would be because I'd be like running. I wouldn't just sit still and take my punishment like a man. I'd be like, "No, Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to."
Yeah.
And that dog would be of course, you walk around barefoot all the time, and that dog Tito would be biting her feet. So I'd be like, I tell the story like it wasn't the spanking that hurt; it was the dog biting me.
That's right.
I wasn't whining like a girl, like a baby. Yeah. While you was spanking, it would be. But yeah, I happened to just sit down and I saw this fly swatter here. We're going to do the Mother's Day story, and I can't look at a fly swatter without thinking about getting.
There you go.
I literally had trauma every time I look at a fly swatter from Sue spanking me with. Man, even to this day, I call mom and dad for advice, and it's I'm blessed to have the parents I had. And I know you're blessed to have Miss Betty, and Betty Sue, from the bottom of her hearts, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, we me and Travis are been friends for 30 something years now. I'm not that good at math. I have a Greenbrier and Arkansas Tech education.
Yeah.
So
long time.
It's a long time. I'm trying to think how old I was in 6th grade. We'll just say we've been friends for a long, long time. But Miss Betty had a lot to do with me growing up.
Sue had a lot to do with me growing up too. Yeah.
And some of my fondest memories of being over at your house hanging out. And I know I sent you a Marco Polo the other day, and I was laying. I said, "I'm sorry, don't make it weird laying in bed." You're like, "Dude, we slept in the same water bed. It's fine." That's
right. Yeah. that was awkward.
It was long, but it was a good time.
That's right. That's right.
Because Paul had his own room, I had my own room.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But man, I think that's about the end of our time for today, Bubba.
Yeah, man. It's good as always. Good reminiscence.
I enjoyed this one.
Yeah. And listen, folks, we need you to like. We need you to share. We need you to to share, to comment. What are some things you'd like to see us talk about? Oh, well, this week, look, it's Mother's Day. What do we want you to comment? We want you to comment about why you love your mom. What's some things? Brag on your mom in our comments. That's what we want to see. I want to see on Facebook. I want to see on YouTube, wherever you're watching this. If you're linked to our Facebook page, get on our Facebook page and comment. Brag on your mamas. Brag on your mamas this week. This is Mother's Day weekend. Let's brag on our mamas, okay? And if you know our moms, you can brag on our moms too. I don't care. I like to brag on my mama. So I know Clint likes to brag on his mama too. So, be happy to have you do that. But still, let's brag on our mamas. Clint, man, it's always love you. It's a pleasure.
One more thing before we go. I made a comment to you before this, once we hit a podcast that gets 200 views, I don't care which one it is. Once we do it, I will do the Empire podcast right here in my purple singlet.
Okay, folks, you heard it.
I will.
If we get 200 views, Clint will wear his purple singlet.
We've got some big things. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We and Travis been working on some things. So, but please like, share, subscribe. And this was a pleasure. It really was.
Yep.
I love telling old stories about our childhood. So,
well, y'all, God bless you. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, and rock out to some Sean Michelle as we head out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Oh, I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no water till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Sun beating down so hard I can barely breathe. Hard to sing